Bethesda Game Studios is dealing with the fallout from Fallout 76% off. Last year, Electronic Arts had a similar mess with Star Wars Battlefront 2, and if somebody told me that the beloved developer Bethesda Game Studios would follow in EA's footsteps, I would not believe them. Bethesda has made mistakes over the years, like with paid mods, horse armor, paid mods again, and the tons of bugs that we have come accustomed to, something that many of us could and would joke about before. Because for the most part in the past, the products of Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Skyrim or Oblivion was pretty good. But with Fallout 76, things are much different, and it started with the announcement back at E3 2018, which from the get-go had many mixed on how to feel about the game. But even so, the mixed feelings at E3 are not even close to the feelings many have today. Bethesda is following the playbook that Electronic Arts pretty much created, of how to destroy your reputation and your game. In EA's case, it was with the predatory loot boxes in Star Wars Battlefront 2 and other games, as well as crappy PR responses that just ignited rage from consumers. Now with Bethesda, we have all seen, heard, and experienced Fallout 76. It's not a very good game. Users have review bombed it wherever they could, and critics have slammed this game with a majority disliking it. On OpenCritic, based on 83 critic reviews, only 1% recommended this title, and the overall score sits at a 53 out of 100. On Metacritic, it's pretty much the same story, with the Xbox score sitting the lowest at a 49 out of 100 based on 29 reviews, the PlayStation 4 score being a 51 based on 36 reviews, and the highest being the PC version sitting at a 54 based on 34 reviews. The thing is though, even with the reviews being horrendous and the game being a lazy, rushed out mess, which could have easily been described as an asset flip that failed, the big problem facing Bethesda now are really themselves shooting themselves continually in the foot. Something I have not discussed is Bethesda's apology of sorts, which came to be when they posted an automated response to the Fallout Reddit in which fans were asking for better communication. This would garner 15,000 downvotes and lead to Bethesda posting an actual response. "We apologize for being insincere with our communications with you yesterday. That was not our intention," which led to a nice long detailed message talking about what players should expect in the next few weeks. It doesn't fix much of the issues, but it is progress. Although they mentioned an article going up on their website in which many felt it was strange because it starts off kind of bragging of sorts of the players experiencing the game. Bethesda would say, "A huge thanks to all of you who have been playing Fallout 76 and embarking on this journey with us. Millions of you are playing the game and playing it a lot." That statement just rubbed people the wrong way because the game is a mess, and I understand this company is trying to stay positive, but they are ignoring that there are fundamental problems that cannot be fixed with a patch. There will have to be a total redesigning of certain features like PvP, and I don't even know if that'll ever happen. Anyway, those are the problems facing the actual game, but outside of that is the bigger problem right now. First, we discussed the other day how a United States law firm was investigating Bethesda for deceptive trade practices. The issue here is how the company has been approaching refunds on PC, because for the first time the developer is not using Steam, which has a pretty good policy in place. That policy being that Valve, the company that owns and runs Steam, will issue a refund for any title that is requested within 14 days of purchase and has been played for less than 2 hours. Some people out there believe that Bethesda chose not to launch Fallout 76 on Steam because of them wanting to control refunds, not having to deal with users review bombing the game's score, and also not having to give Valve a cut of the profit. Bethesda VP Pete Hines previously said it was all about communication and wanting a better relationship with players, but let's be honest here, it was all about the money. Now anyway, this US law firm is investigating Bethesda for this issue because in at least one case they granted a user a refund, even said they were going to process it later, and then followed up with an email a day later saying you cannot get a refund because you downloaded the game. And that's actually the interesting thing, because PC players have to use Bethesda.net's client, which has a policy that if you download a game, you cannot get a refund, although many countries have laws that protect consumers from this, and that could be challenged in courts. Recently, there's also been other user reports of Bethesda auto-rejecting refund requests now, so anyway, this leads to the potential class action lawsuit at least one US law firm is preparing. Migliaccio and Rathod LLP seems to still be investigating, but they actually announced another investigation today. They took to their blog and stated, "We have received feedback from multiple owners of Fallout 76 who purchased the Power Armor Edition, a $200 collector's edition of the game that was advertised to include a canvas bag. Upon delivery, purchasers found the bag to be made of nylon, contrary to Bethesda's representation of the material and contrary to purchasers' expectation of the product. Fans who reached out to Bethesda received an explanation saying due to the availability of materials, we had to switch to a nylon carrying case in the Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition. There are multiple Reddit threads detailing fans' dissatisfaction with this set, and the Amazon page for the product still lists the included bag as made out of canvas. This is a classic bait and switch. Now, I already said this in my last video, the whole mess regarding this canvas bag is what's called false advertising, and this is more likely to bring Bethesda legal issues, and now here they are. The most interesting part is that Bethesda did not notify those who spent $200+ on this collector's edition and tell them about the change. They also never decided to change the advertisement image, which falsely shows the nicer bag that consumers will never get. Even if you head to many retailers' websites right now like Walmart, the original false advertisement image is still shown. Now, in my last video, we discussed Bethesda's claims that it was due to a shortage in materials, which doesn't really make much sense as the material needed isn't exactly something rare, and also this should have been prepared a while ago, not right now. In the original message that a customer got from Bethesda Gear Store support team, in which they complained about the cheap bag, they were told the canvas bag was a prototype, too expensive to make, and they did not plan to do anything about it, which Bethesda can try saying this statement is inaccurate, but many believe Bethesda got cheap and decided to make sure they are making the profit that they want, and they just decided to downgrade the item without disclosing it to those who already pre-ordered the edition. But the problem that Bethesda will now face is again another refund policy, which on the Bethesda Gear website, it specifically says limited edition or timed edition items that are made to order cannot be refunded or returned after the order is placed. Also, it's important for those who purchased this Power Armor Edition not to accept Bethesda's crappy 500 atoms compensation, which could prevent you from taking legal action and getting a refund later. At least here in the United States, taking a look at the Federal Trade Commission's website under Truth in Advertising, it stated, when consumers see or hear an advertisement, whether it's on the internet, radio, or television, or anywhere else, federal law says that ad must be truthful, not misleading, which in this case, not disclosing a change to this Fallout 76 Special Edition and delivering something else, well, I would consider that misleading. You would think a company like Bethesda would make it up to those who pre-ordered this edition, coughing up some big bucks by first notifying beforehand the change, offering a refund or at least a partial one, and maybe even adding a product to say they're sorry, but nope, they got called out for the change after release and offered $5 in imaginary Bethesda money to those affected, the biggest slap that a company could give to their consumers. This situation is pathetic, and I really will not be surprised to see that this case goes to court later, unless Bethesda does something drastic in these next few days. It's just mistake after mistake with everything Fallout 76, and I just wonder what's next to happen, because Bethesda keeps adding fuel to this already raging fire. I can only imagine that some of the Bethesda PR and customer support team will probably be losing their jobs over this debacle, but all the events that are transpiring right now will affect Bethesda as a publisher moving forward. We often discuss and see the negative gamer reaction to anything coming from Electronic Arts and Activision, and it really will be interesting to see if Bethesda has created damage to their overall brand. In 2019, there's Rage 2, which is being developed by id Software and Avalanche Studios, releasing in the spring. Then there's Machine Games' Wolfenstein Young Blood coming sometime in the year, and also id Software's Doom Eternal, which I believe is also coming next year. These are all under the Bethesda Softworks umbrella, and I think it would be dumb to say that the Fallout 76 mess does not have an effect at all on those games, even though they are not being developed by Bethesda Game Studios. There will be still some lingering anger for anything with Bethesda's name on it. But I'm telling you now, if Bethesda does have another E3 conference next year, it'll be really interesting to see how they discuss the future of Fallout 76 and even the next big release coming later, Starfield, because I'm sure in these next few months they'll hopefully fix many of the lingering bugs and glitches in Fallout 76, but I don't see the game changing in overall quality much from now to then. In conclusion, more possible lawsuits could be on the horizon. Bethesda certainly has opened the doors to consumers fighting to get refunds, as well as government agencies like the FTC may be opening an investigation into false advertising. Like I said before, it really will be interesting to see if Bethesda can get back on consumers' good side, but that will take time, and they must listen to all the criticisms and anger being thrown their way, as much of it is valid. What a good pro-consumer company would do is reach out and allow refunds, not fight it. Bethesda screwed up and they need to own up to it. If they want to start repairing their image, That's a start. Anyway, guys and gals, what do you make of this duffel bag mess and the possibility of another class action lawsuit happening in the future? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. But thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.